-guest so we know who you are.
Testing to make sure my correct microphone is set up. Can you guys hear me?
Narmada, can you check your voice is being heard?
Yes. Good. What did you say, Ishwaki? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was just making sure your voice is being heard. Fine.
Yeah. It's just that my kid was right around here and he was talking and I didn't want to disturb you guys.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, we'll start in maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Chris, you want to rename Chris, Jeff, Paul? You want to rename yourself with the roles?
And he got a hat too.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, everyone.
It doesn't really work.
But I just joined. What was I supposed to do? Did I miss the instructions? And hi,
No.
Dave. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, no problem. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we're just getting started. We're waiting a minute or two, and Ishwaki's going to kick off.
Okay, perfect. I thought I was supposed to introduce myself, and I was totally...
Oh, no, I think Ishwaki was saying earlier, anybody who is a guest, if you could just put after your name /guest so that we know you're a guest.
I can do that.
That's all. Yeah, and whoever doesn't know how, you just right-click on your name and click rename, and you can rename your name for this session. I don't know if it holds after that. I don't think it does because I did mine yesterday and it didn't stick. I had to do it again today.
Okay, let's get started. It's 12:04. So just as our usual tradition, I got the lectern. The meeting begins. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster and dear guest. I'm so happy to welcome all of you to our family. We really enjoy Toastmaster, and now you will also know why. I still remember my first time when I came as a guest and I was asked a question in table topics, and all I was stoned. I didn't feel my hands, I didn't feel my legs. And all this time, what we do in Toastmaster is not to have any success. We come here to fail so much that when we go out in the real world, we have a very high probability of success. Along with the getting better at speaking, you know what happens in Toastmasters? Every evaluator knows how to give you a bitter medicine of improvement wrapped in a sweet chocolate of confidence and motivation. So all you're left is with a lot of improvements. I can go on and on talking about Toastmaster, but there is a timekeeper who's going to flash a red flag on me and I can be disbarred from this meeting. So without further delay, I want to show you a clip of video of all the current and past Toastmasters, and I would like you to experience what we feel at Toastmasters. So allow me to share my screen.
Toastmasters International, where leaders are made. Toastmasters gives you an opportunity not only to enhance and improve your public speaking and communication skills, but also a great platform to develop your leadership skills.
This helps us learn basic leadership skills like listening, providing feedback, motivating, and even time management and so on. We learn these skills and we practice it as we come to the clubs and run these clubs successfully.
Who joined Toastmasters to be a better Toastmaster? Who joined Toastmasters to actually be a better person outside of the club? That should be everyone.
Those able to move into management. And the training that I received in Toastmasters has been very helpful in management because of three main things, main skills that I've learned here. One is leading effective meetings. Meetings incorporate a lot of people's time. If you can't be effective, then you're wasting the company's resources and you're boring people. Okay, that's the worst thing. If you're trying to have a team that's engaged, you better not bore them. The next thing that's an important skill is the coaching skills. Being able to listen to somebody and give them feedback. That's an important managerial skill that we learn in Toastmasters quite a bit. And then the third thing is, of course, getting up here and speaking in front of a group and sounding like you know what you're talking about. These are things that we practice in Toastmasters week in and week out. And it's a very important skill if you want to become a manager or a technical leader, because you are going to be expected to speak in front of groups. And you better sound smart and you better keep people sitting on the edge of their seat.
Talk about those fun times you've had, or the times you embarrassed yourself. And if you're alone, sit back, reminisce, relax, and think about the good things that has occurred to you. Or maybe the bad things. You've gone through an ordeal and how you've grown, how stronger you've become. And if a person helped you in that whole journey, thank that person.
I sometimes take out a few minutes to think about and reminisce the hard work and effort I've put into reaching the attitude and approach I have today.
And then that day I realized that happiness and success are the ice creams which you have at the night after working hard whole day for the homework which you are doing, and the teachers are the failures who are trying to prepare me, the person whom I always dreamt of. So this all things prepared me to what I always wanted to become. So that's how I fell in love with my dreams. Thank you.
Ishwaki, you're muted.
You're unmuted, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for that. So before I leave you to enjoy the show, I have few guidelines. All the guests, please name yourself. If you are ABC123, please name yourself correctly and write guest so we can identify you. We are going to post some Google Sheet in the chat, and there is going to be a raffle in the end. So keep your eye on it and fill that Google Sheet form for a raffle in the end. And now fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the show. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Chris.
Hello, everyone. Fellow members, guests, thank you for attending today's open house. I will be introducing the meeting today. And today the theme is video conferencing. This is our new mode of meeting now that we are stuck at home with COVID and all the wildfires and everything. So it's great to be able to continue on our Toastmasters journey despite all of these challenges. And I can say that we've really learned to adapt well. And that video that our VP of PR just prepared for us and showed, that's an example of how we are able to adapt and really make the best of our video experience. I'm just going to introduce myself briefly. My name is Christopher Fry. I'm an IT manager at Intel. I sit in R&B when I'm not sitting at home. And I've been with Toastmasters for 18 years and with this club for 17 years. So I think I may be the longest running member of this club. And I have seen a lot of changes in the past 17 years. And the biggest change has been in the past 6 months as we've learned and adapted to our work from home arrangements. So I want to briefly touch on how the structure of Toastmasters can provide value to anybody who wants to learn communication and leadership skills. First off, you know, I was in that video that you just watched. I looked a little bit different because, you know, haircuts are illegal now, so I look a little different. But I was talking about how we learn skills at these meetings that we can bring into our jobs. And being a manager, I talked about the 3 skills that I found most valuable that I learned at Toastmaster. In the effective meetings comment that I made, you know, we have an agenda with time slots. We have clearly defined functionary roles. Everybody knows how to do their roles and they learn to do them better through each meeting that we have. And I'll be going over those functionaries in just a moment. But in addition to the roles that we have in the meetings itself, we have the ability to practice our communication skills through our prepared speeches that come out of the pathways that Toastmasters provides. And we'll have a little bit more on that later. We also have our impromptu speeches that we call table topics. And we have our evaluation speeches where we can learn to listen and to give feedback. We also, outside of the day-to-day or every Wednesday meeting, we have leadership roles in Toastmasters. So with our local club, we have 7 officers. I mentioned the VP of PR. We also have a president, we have a sergeant at arms, we have VP of education, we have a secretary, and so forth. So all of these officers' roles, you learn skills that are good for sustaining an organization of any kind, whether it's your work-related role or a community role that you may have. So that's how the structure of Toastmasters can provide value. And I just want to touch on some things about our current scenario, meeting over video. As you are sitting here enjoying the meeting, you can turn off your camera, but when you're speaking, please be sure that your camera is on so that we can all see you. There's something I want you to consider as you are in your video, looking at the composition of your frame. I've tried to set up my frame here with a kind of a blank wall behind me. I've tried to role model having, some kind of neutral colors that I'm wearing, and this is in contrast with my relatively off-white background. So there's nothing behind me, I hope, that's going to distract you. One thing that's different about a video meeting is when you come to a meeting on site, you're just wearing your own clothing and that's what you're coming with. But when you're doing a video meeting, you're bringing your whole background with you. And you might choose a virtual background or you might choose to share things about your home. But I just encourage you to plan for that and prepare for that. Don't have anything behind you that you wouldn't want others to see because they will. And also basics like keeping the video focused, making sure that your sound quality is good, all that is also really important. We've had people where we hear an echo or drops or things like that. Try to get those things worked out in advance before you have to show yourself to your colleagues and community. Okay, so I want to go through the functionaries here, and I'll just name the functionary role, and then that person will explain the description of the role. So Andy is our grammarian today.
Yeah, I am your grammarian, so I'll be doing 2 things. Firstly, I'll be listening to all the speakers and noting down any exemplary use of the English language or any erroneous use of the English language and giving a report at the end of the meeting. The second thing I will be doing is introducing the word of the day. And this is it. Today's word of the day is succinct. It means expressed in few words, concise, or characterized by conciseness or verbal brevity. For example, to deliver an effective elevator speech, you really need to be succinct. So I'll be counting the use of the word, and every time someone uses the word, I'll note that down and I'll give a count at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Andy. Charu is our counter. Charu, please be succinct in your explanation of your role.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to be extremely succinct and explain my role here. My role is that of an counter, which means I'm going to be watching out for all the speakers using us and ums or filler words while they speak, and I'm going to report that out. Oftentimes, we don't realize how many times we use these words, which is definitely in my case, but it's always good to have somebody record them and spell it out to you by the end of the meeting. So that's going to be my role.
Thank you, Churu. Our timekeeper is Hussein.
I was on mute here. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I will be the timekeeper for today. So I will time the speaker. I will flash the green card when the speaker hit 5 minutes and keep flashing the yellow card up to 7 minutes. And after that, I'll flash the red card.
Thank you, Hussein. Paul is our ballot counter today.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul. I'll be the ballot counter, as Chris mentioned. If you look in the chat session, you'll see a link to the ballot. So you can click on that, and in our normal meetings, we have a vote for best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics person. So we'll have that today. You can take a look at it. And also there's a spot in there under best speaker for you to succinctly provide feedback to that speaker.
Thank you, Paul. San is our videographer today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tan, and today my duty is to record the speech by the speaker. And do I have the permission from the speaker? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And by the way, this meeting is recorded. It's being recorded now. And if you have any concern, please reach out to me and we can figure it out.
Thank you, San.
Thank you.
Our joke of the day is from Mathi.
Thank you, Chris. Hey, everybody. So I have a few jokes for you. And those of you on video, laugh out loud so I can see. And those of you who are muted and I don't see your videos, if you find it funny, unmute and laugh because I think I'm a funny person. The first joke, a little boy went up to his father and asked, "Dad, where did my intelligence come from?" The father replied, "Well, son, you must have got it from your mother because I still have mine." Okay. The next one is, a woman is sitting at home on the couch with her husband and she says, "I love you." He asks, "Is that you or the wine talking?" She replies, "It's me talking to the wine." Okay, one more. As a senior citizen drove down the motorway, his car phone rang. Answering, he heard his wife's voice urgently warning him, "David, I just heard on the news that there's a car going the wrong way on M25. Please be careful." And then David says, "Hell, it's not just one car, it's all of them." The role of the joke master is to set the mood a little light so people are relaxed and go into the meeting. I hope you guys are prepped up for the amazing meeting we have set up. Back to you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Mathi. Okay, our first speaker today, actually our only speaker today, Kritika, will be upskilling us with Toastmasters, and evaluating her is Narmada. Can you please tell us what you're looking out for in Kritika's speech?
Hello, everybody. I'm Narmada. I will be the evaluator for Kritika today. So Kritika has been a Toastmaster for 3 years and has been a past president of this club. And she also won this year's club and area international speech contest. So I think we're in for a big treat. She will be talking about her experience at Toastmaster and help answer questions as to why all of you should actually join Toastmasters. So the things that I am looking for in her speech are how she manages the time for delivering the speech, and also her demeanor and voice modulation. This is what I would be looking out for in the speech. Kritika, good luck with your speech, and back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you, Narmada. Kritika, please take it away.
My heart was racing. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips as I was standing there on stage, staring at 50 people, trying to convince each and every one of them to believe in my dream passion project. After getting into the really chunky parts of the technical part of the presentation, I realized I myself was feeling a little bit bored as I was talking about it, let alone the audience was to now listen to my entire spiel. That's when I realized that the content alone cannot have the impact that we desire as a speaker. What the actual intention of every speech or every presentation needs to be is that we need to make sure that the audience is leaving with the amount of passion that's more than the amount of passion that I came into this room about this topic. And that's when I heard about Toastmasters International Club. Today, I'll be talking to you guys about how Toastmasters has impacted my life, and I hope if you let it, it'll impact your life. I'll try to be succinct in my speech, and then I'll be taking up questions from the audience members and answering any questions that you have about Toastmasters. So after this big presentation to 50 people, I was introduced to a senior speaker at Toastmasters at Intel called Sung Lee. She came into our group. She taught us all these new skills which we had never heard of how to introduce storytelling into even a technical dry speech, how to add more presence, how to make sure that you're moving with purpose on the stage, and how to make sure that the audience leaves with at least 3 important messages at the end of every speech. After this, I knew that I will have a great speech, and surely I did. The next presentation, we had to talk about the same topic to 500 new people at Intel. And this time, the impact was unbelievable. At the end of the speech, people came back and gave us feedback about how certain parts of the speech really stuck to them and how they wanted to go and talk about it to other people who it would have really impacted. That's what you need with every single speech that you make. That's when I knew I had to learn more about Toastmasters, and I started attending the weekly meetings on Wednesday at 12. That's me putting a small pitch for the meeting, so you remember. So as a guest, I decided to go attend the meeting and just observe and learn, just as most of the guests are doing today. I decided to be a guest for almost 3 whole months. I went back, kept asking questions. I spoke to all the members. I reached out to the officers, the president, and that was about 3 years ago. Since then, I decided that all the members out here are on the same journey that I am on, of constantly growing, of learning new skills, of how to be a better speaker, a better leader, a better influencer, and not just at my job, but also in the world around. If this message resonates with you guys, you're definitely at the right place. I knew I had found my tribe when I came here, and even after constant questions and annoying doubts that I had for 3 months, they were still welcoming me each and every time and not forcing me to go become a member. Just come, learn with us, have fun with us. And that's what I loved about Toastmasters. The transition from being a guest to a member was fairly simple. I just had to fill a form, pay a few dollars as fees, which in fact got reimbursed by Intel. So technically it was all free for me. I went in and I decided that it took a little bit time on my calendar, but it was definitely well worth it because of all the progress that I saw in myself. Once you become a member, there's nothing more you need to do because the club really takes you on as their baby and they take care of you throughout the entire journey. As soon as I became a member, I had a mentor who was assigned to me, and the mentor really helped me figure out what my pathway needs to be. Now, you've heard the word pathway being spoken a few times in this meeting. What that is a terminology used for a set of skills that you want to really focus on for the next few months. There are about 11 pathways in Toastmasters that you can pick from. There's some, like Chris mentioned, that focus on leadership, like dynamic leadership, leadership development. There are others that are for team collaboration, others which help you persuade and influence people better, present better, called presentation mastery, strategic relationships for networking better, and so on. All these pathways were great, and my mentor really helped me get started on them. But what next? The next thing was to actually go and do all the assignments in these pathways and give speeches. And that's where I was scared. But my mentor, being as amazing as he was, who was also the president of the club back then, helped me figure out the topics, the content, and gave me feedback on every speech before I gave the speech to the club. He would sit with me and I could practice it on him. He was my guinea pig. It worked wonderfully. And within 6 months, I was so excited to see the progress. And throughout this journey, you keep getting feedback from people. So you also get recorded videos of your speech, which you will realize makes such a big difference. I did not know I used to stare at the carpet on the floor during every speech. If you ask me the color of the carpet, I would never know it. But the video showed me a new reality that I was staring at the carpet a lot longer than I ever realized. And that's something I've changed now. As you can see, I've not looked down as much. Then I realized I was really enthused about the entire process. I loved it. And that's when a new growth challenge came into my life. And my mentor, the president, decided to leave the club. He was so confident that I am going to be the perfect fit to replace him. And I was so naive to believe him. But it was a ride of a lifetime. Becoming an officer gives you leadership skills that you can really practice hands-on and learn at the job. As Chris mentioned, we have different officer roles of VP PR, VP membership, treasurer, and all of these officers really make your journey safe and productive. Every minute you spend here, you will learn new skills. I think they organize the meetings and make sure they run smoothly. That's one part, but they also organize these fun events to make sure that we actually enjoy and keep coming back for more, like today's open house. After this, I realized that the people are what makes the club. The people, the members and the officers together made the entire journey so rich that it kept me coming back for more and kept me hooked. It's been 3 years, like I said, and I still come every Wednesday. Even though I have a meeting, I'll make sure I try to attend every third Wednesday if I can't. And that's what I hope we all will do for you guys if you plan to join and have fun with us on this journey. A few months ago, I had another opportunity where I could stand on stage and talk to an audience about my passion project. My heart was racing again and I could feel the pulse in my fingers. But this time, I know I made an impact because I have this to show for it. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thanks, Kritika. Could we get the timers report, please?
The timer around 7 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's qualified.
All right, thank you. Now, everyone, please give an evaluation to Kritika. You can do that by, is there a Google document or are we just sending a message on the chat?
When you go to the ballot, there's a space there where you can put that in. So just take a look at the chat and you'll see the link to the ballot.
Okay, so please, thank you. Please go ahead and submit those evaluation comments while I introduce the next section, which is table topics. Our table topics today will be led by Jeff.
Thank you, Chris. So table topics is impromptu speaking practice. So what happens here, I'll ask a question which no one in the club knows beforehand, and then I'll pick someone and they have to answer it. It's a way to learn to think on your feet, and it's also a way to get more people involved in the meeting. So the time limit is 1 to 2 minutes, so you have to be relatively succinct, but you can't be too succinct because you have to speak at least 45 seconds, and you can't take too long because 2 minutes and 30 seconds is the limit. And so when I call people, they need to look at Hussein. He'll change his background to do the green, yellow, red, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1:30, and red at 2 minutes. And then at the end, we vote on the best table topic speaker. And so we'll have our members participate. And if any guests want to participate, please send me a private chat, and then I can try to get you in if we have enough time. So the theme for today is video conferencing, since we're doing this over video. So in this pandemic-stricken world, video conferencing, whether it's through Zoom, Teams, or any other host of tools, it's much more commonplace. So what do you like about video conferencing, the way it is done today, and why? Let's go with Sujata.
Hi, thank you, Jeff, for that question. So my favorite thing about video conferencing is that I don't have to go anywhere and I can attend a meeting at Santa Clara Intel or in India with my family, and like, you know, but I'm just sitting in the same table and chair with the same background. Nothing changes. I had a colleague or a developer that I work with tell me that he changed jobs, but he was right there sitting on the same table and chair. But he was working for two different universities. One day he was working for one university, other day the other one. So that's good. What I miss about video conferencing is the one-on-one interaction. So, I mean, if we were in a normal setting, we would, after the meeting, maybe I could chat with some of the guests and maybe get to know them one-on-one, and even within people who regularly come, we will chat like as a more informal basis. That part is missing because we all end up interacting in a group. But then it is what it is. So I feel very fortunate that we are able to do our jobs using video conferencing and also meet people via video conferencing. So make the best of what we get. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. And you mentioned some of the pluses and minuses of video conferencing, but it also requires some changes. So when you're presenting or you're giving a talk on a video conference, what adjustments do you make to deal with this new environment as compared to speaking in person? Let's go with Andy.
What adjustments do I make? Well, I put the light on up there so you can see my face. I close the blinds in the window here. And I try and be aware of everybody that is actually on the call. Gallery view helps there, and that means that I can see who's participating and who isn't. And I can be sure to solicit input from people who are on the call who might be silent and not contributing to the meeting. So I try and treat it as much as I can like sitting around a table by making sure that I have gallery view and I have everybody visible around the table. And then, although I can't see the entire body language, at least I can see the expressions. And that enables me to get as much out of the meeting as I can. So to me, it's you try and get as much of the face-to-face meeting experience out of Zoom or WebEx or whatever you have as is possible. And I think that's really it. Just try and make it as close to a face-to-face as you possibly can. Yes, you can use videos. Yes, you can use screen sharing, but to me, they're trinkets. You really want that human interaction as much as you can get it from the online format. Thank you for the question, Jeff.
Okay, thank you, Andy. And we've run out of time in this section. So could we have a timer's report from Hussein?
Yes, Sujata was 1 minute and 30 seconds. She qualified, and Andy 1 minute and 27 seconds qualified as well.
Okay, thank you, Hussein. So please vote in the ballot link for the best table topic speakers. We had Andy and Sujata. And now I will hand things over to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Jeff. This is David Albano. I am the general evaluator for today. And the general evaluator's role is to step in after the speeches have been given, both the prepared speeches. Typically there's two. Today we cut it down to one, Kritika's, followed by the table topic speakers. And then now we go into the evaluation part of the meeting where those speakers are evaluated. Today, we're just going to do an evaluation for Kritika. And after that's over, I will call for a few reports. And then as general evaluator, I will give my evaluation on the meeting itself. I will try to be succinct and give an overview of how things went without commenting on the specific speakers themselves. So with that said, Narmada, can you go ahead and give the first evaluation for Kritika?
Good afternoon, everybody. Evaluating Kritika's speech is going to be really, really hard on me. She asked me to look for things that she was probably trying to improve on. I don't know what feedback to give her. She has just improved so much tremendously. I still remember the first speech. I think she gave about a basketball game, the first speech. And I was thinking, man, this girl has her eyes plastered on the floor. She did not look at the audience once. From there, this is the second time I'm hearing her, and I am amazed. I'm amazed to see the big improvement, big changes that she has made. She has grown leaps and bounds. And if any of you really wants to get there, please remember to come and join us. So moving on. Some things that I loved about your speech, Kritika, your hand gestures. I have not listened to too many speeches on the video conferencing once the video conferencing started, but I love the way you used your hands, and that definitely kind of enhanced your speech. I love the pulse in your fingers. You could feel the pulse in your fingers. It was really good. And you counted your threes, which is again something that we always look for. These are the things that I really loved about your speech. One thing that you could have changed is you used the word enthu, and not a lot of people know what enthu is. It is enthusiastic, or maybe everybody knows, and I am assuming maybe there are some people who don't know, but please use them in the future when you do your speeches. Make sure you use the word, expand the word and use them. I love that your introduction and the conclusion were tied to the same thing, how you went and stood in front of everybody, and how you felt when you gave a speech before you were a Toastmaster, and how you felt after being a Toastmaster. I think that basically ties everything together, and having that is very, very critical. You wanted me to look out for time management. You barely grazed it. So maybe you should practice it a little bit more instead of just finally wrapping it up really quick. So that would be really good, something that you could focus on. Other than that, something that I really liked in your content was talking about the pathways. Every speech, when you give, right, it is dependent on the listeners, on people who are listening to you. And today, the people who are going to get the most out of the speech are our guests. So an introduction to pathways, and some of the pathways that we have is a great content that you added, and hopefully that will give them more information. And one thing that I have in your speech is, I have a feedback is, you said when the past president decided I am going to be a good president, it should have been I was going to be a good president. So it was in the past. And with that, I have one last thing. I love, keep feeling the pulse in your fingers and keep up your enthusiasm, and your future speeches will be great. Good luck, Kritika. Looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you, Narmada. Can I have the timers report for Narmada's eval?
Yeah, 3 minutes and 15 seconds qualified. Thank you.
Excellent. So now we typically will, when there was more than one evaluation, we would ask to vote for the best evaluator, but you'll see on the form there's only one selection there, so you can click through that. And we would normally pass our ballots to the ballot counter. The next portion now, we would like to have the grammarian report from Andy.
All right, so first off, let's have who used the word of the day. And I heard it from Charu, from Chris, from Paul, from Krutika, from Jeff, and from David. And that's the majority of the speakers. Well done. Right, on to the grammarian report. Krutika, you used an alliteration. I love alliterations. Senior speaker, very good. And I like your illustrative or illustrative phrases. I knew I had found my tribe. Toastmasters will take you on as their baby, staring at the carpet. I could feel the pulse in my fingers. This kind of illustrative language really helps to pull us in. I love that. I only really caught one thing to catch somebody out on, and that was Narmada. You used a pleonasm, which is saying the same thing twice in the same sentence. You said improved so much tremendously. So, you know, improved so much or improved tremendously, either one, we don't need both. That would be a pleonasm. And that concludes my grammarian report.
Thank you, Andy. Next, we'd like the counter report. Charu?
Yes, absolutely. So starting with Kritika, I caught nothing on the R's, but I did get like about more than 4 times. Jeff, I got 2 R's from you. Sujata, I got 1 R from you and a couple of so's. Andy, very clean 0, nothing to grit on. David, so far I haven't got anything there either. Narmada, I got about, initially you were very clean, but towards the end you probably got 9 R's. So that's the R counter report.
Thank you, Charu. Next, I'll give my meeting evaluation of the event. And it was started very succinctly. Ishwaki did a nice job introducing the meeting. I like how the word of the day was brought up in the beginning. We started relatively on time, which is always good. There were certain points where we got a little behind, a little ahead, but overall, the meeting was kept on time throughout, which was very good. I like that there was no technical hiccups. The video that Ishwaki showed, we didn't have any hiccups where it wouldn't work or the audio didn't work, things like that. So obviously she prepared for that in advance. I think that's a very good thing because that happens all too often. Great overview by Chris. I liked his commentary on the club in general and showing the value and the benefits to the guests. And even the tips on the video meetings that we have, I got something out of that myself too. So thanks for going through that. And I like the laughs by Mati. Very good jokes. For the evaluators, very good. Narmada did a great job on the evaluation. I liked her enthusiasm. The only thing I wanted to add to that was I like how Kritika kept with the simple background and there wasn't any distractions. She stood up and there's just a lamp behind her. So it kept the focus from you looking around. All right, nice work on that. And Sujata, kudos to you. Your audio was very good, whatever headset you're using. Okay, so the only recommendation I have for next time, since this meeting went so well, is everybody try to use the Toastmasters background in your Zoom background meetings. Okay, otherwise it was very well done. And with that said, I will pass the meeting now over to Kritika. We're going to do a Q&A, which is something is not normally part of the meetings at this time, but we're doing that because we have guests today. So Kritika, I'll pass over to you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for the evaluation too. I learned a few things. And thanks for observing that I actually made time to clean all the paintings of the walls. Thanks. All right. So as I already spoke about the entire journey of Toastmasters, I hope you guys got most of the answers in there. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to jump in and ask me anything. Like I said, I took 3 months of questions to get all the information I need. So please go ahead, use the time. Any questions out there? Maybe guests don't have anything, so maybe I'll pick on members. If you had any questions, that new members, maybe if you've still finding something difficult.
Let me ask a question on behalf of guest, maybe.
Yes.
What is special about Toastmaster Insiders other than the usual Toastmasters Club?
I think that's a great question. I think I spoke a lot about how Toastmasters has been amazing, but for me, Toastmasters has been largely Toastmasters Insiders. It has been a journey with people who are like-minded. Although the common thread is Intel, there's so much that's different in each person's journey. And all of it is brought to the club. People come and share their stories, share their experiences, share about new things they've learned, books they've read, travels that they've done or they're planning to. These are things that you'll not learn anywhere else, and that actually, like today I learned a new word, neoplasm. I think that's the word. I hope I got it right. But things like that, like every meeting you learn something small, something different, and that's because you're with like-minded, brilliant Intel people. So that's what I think is very unique to this club. Thank you for that question.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My question is, what would you say would be the value of still attending Toastmaster meetings through video conferencing? A lot of people have this question. It's not in person, so it's not the same thing. So what would you want to say to folks like those?
That is a good question. Given the times, I think we don't have an option but to do the virtual meeting, and I think that is a great place for me. I started attending the virtual meetings more often just because I wanted a place to practice. We have virtual meetings throughout our team now, throughout the week with our team members and other team members. So there's no way of me knowing if I'm doing it right, if I'm having a good impact on the other side, if I'm even heard correctly, if I'm seen. Sometimes you have like a team meeting with video on, and there are people who have the background all busy and I can't see them. And these are things I have already made the mistakes in the Toastmasters meetings, and I think I've corrected it. So like when I joined, I had a virtual background already for Intel in the back. That was from my past meeting. That's something I learned, which I take to my work meetings and keep that as a background so that they don't see my dog running in the background. So things like that. So these are things I've learned here and I can take back to my workplace. So definitely, I think it's even more impactful now because this is a place to practice real meetings.
I have a question. What does the district and area level of Toastmasters offer us?
Very good question. I think that's something every member needs to know a little bit more about themselves. So what we have is there are multiple clubs. A lot of them are grouped together based on the zip code or the vicinity they lie in. In our area, we have about 4 clubs. We have NVIDIA as our fellow sister club in this area. We have 2 other non-corporate clubs, and 4 of us are more or less like sister clubs in one area. So we actually get to interact with members of these clubs. You'll have competitions with them. We'll have trainings with them. And we also get in, now that it's all virtual, we get invited for trainings that they organize, and trainings that we organize, we can invite them. So you actually get to network with people in your area and outside your club. It's a great opportunity, and that actually multiplies as we go from area to division to district. So these are all, there are multiple areas within a division and multiple divisions within a district and so on. So our area comes under area D3, division D, area 3, district 101. So there are, I believe, 80 clubs. I'm not sure if somebody knows the number. I don't quite remember, but 80 clubs, I think, in District 101. I'm not quite sure, but I think something on those lines. So you actually have a chance to attend conferences with them and meet a lot of people, a lot of great speakers and influencers.
Chris mentioned that we can take up roles in the club, right? So do you want to tell us about what's the benefit and the importance of taking on officer roles in our club or in any Toastmasters club?
You mean officer roles and not the roles in the meetings?
Not just the meeting roles, yeah, the officer roles.
Okay, let me just talk about a little bit on both, because I think they both have their own advantages. The member roles, you've actually seen a little bit about somebody who's keeping the time, somebody who's counting your ers and ums and filler words, somebody who's taking note of your bad grammar uses. So things like that. Initially, I did not think that was an addition to my speaking skills. I just thought I'll go there, speak, practice. But the actual learning comes when you take up these smaller roles and you notice that you are making the same mistakes. Once you become more attentive of the ers and ums, next time you're speaking, you automatically in the back of your head start thinking, oh no, I've already made 8 ums, I better stop. So things like that, but you start noticing a small change when you take these smaller roles within your delivery. And the officer roles, like I mentioned, it was thrown on me, but then I loved it because I learned so much. And I think that is a journey you need to take. Every member should eventually try to take one officer role throughout, because it gives you an opportunity to see what happens in the back. You're actually organizing the entire event. You're making sure the club is running, making sure people are still interested, making sure that new members are joining, more people at Intel are hearing about the club because it's so useful, and things like that. These are small skills that you learn in different roles. Being the president, I'm sure Ashwaki can talk about that more, about how you have to actually lead a team and not just the officers. You need to lead the entire Toastmasters club. We have 38 members, I think now. We are all a team, so she has to lead us all, keep the enthusiasm going, even though things change. Like this went from being in a room every week to being on a virtual platform. She has to keep the enthusiasm going, keep us interested, keep us coming back. So things like that, you learn these new skills which will definitely help you being a team member anywhere. I think if not the leader, you are always leading as a team member. So these are skills you can apply outside as well. I hope that answers your question, Madhi. Andy has a question. Yes.
No, it's not a question, it's a comment. And this is reflecting off what you just said and what Chris said earlier. I've been president of this club, and I've also been president of a public club. And when you are president, you suddenly realize you're the responsible person. There's nobody else above you, and the success depends on you. Suddenly, you're the president, and you have to keep the club vibrant, which initially is really scary. And then when you realize people look up to you and they'll follow you and you can pull it off, suddenly it increases your confidence for anything else you do. So now I'm a project manager, and people really look to me to lead the project. And I feel like I've been there before because I was president of 2 Toastmasters clubs. So I would recommend that anyone aspire to be president of the Toastmasters Club, because it puts you on the spot. You find out you can perform, and it really boosts your confidence for managing other projects.
Absolutely. Thank you for that input. I think if there are others, I'm sure there are a lot of other senior members here who'd like to contribute on this. So please go ahead. Feel free to jump in at any point.
Hey, Kritika?
Yes, David.
So this sounds great, and I can get a lot of management experience being in an officer role. But what if, you know, this looks nice today? I had a nice time. I'm not really ready to jump into an officer role. Can I come to a few meetings and just sit in and listen to see how the other meetings go, and then make a decision what I want to do?
Yes, definitely. I think I was on that hot seat for like 3 months. I didn't know if I had the time for it, if now was the right time to jump into this. Like, I'm working on technical skills. Do I really need to focus on my interpersonal skills and public speaking skills? But then, like I said, I attended it as a guest. You can do that for a really long time. There's no pressure. You can do that forever if you want. Just attend as a guest, come learn, just listen, just sitting and seeing how many mistakes other people are making. You become, like I said, more aware of yourself. So that is something you can keep doing. And then once you think there's a pathway, or you think there's some skill that you can learn from and pick from, you can definitely talk to the members, the officers. And I think we've put names of everyone out here, and I think we'll put the PDL. We have an Inside Blue page as well, where you can go ahead and look for more information and learn more, find the people you need to contact and get more information. Definitely take your time, think about it, attend, enjoy the process.
Thanks.
Yeah. How are we doing on time, Hussain? Sorry, I can't see you.
5 minutes left.
Okay. If there are no more questions, are there any questions? Anyone else?
No, I just wanted to comment or add on to, like, taking up roles in to the meetings. So one of the things that I found useful was listening skills. So when you're speaking, yes, you are speaking, but when you're taking up those roles, you're practicing your listening skills, and that's also important. And also, to the other point about coming to this club as a guest, I did that for almost a year before I decided, yes, I want to work on my speaking skills. So I did take a lot of time. I was not regular for the whole year. I would just come when I could come. But,
That's a good point. You don't have to be regular even if you're a member. So that's something initially when I joined, has to be like, oh, every Wednesday I need to be there. And then I missed one Wednesday and I felt really guilty. But I realized, no, it's fine. You can still come back, do maybe one Wednesday a month, but still you're like, you're on the journey, you're going to get better over time. So it's just putting in a little bit of time here and there. If there are no more questions, I'd like to now ask the president to come back on and wrap up the meeting. Ishwaki?
Thank you. Thank you, Kritika, for organizing the Q&A. And we really got nice inputs. Just like Sujata mentioned, 1 year she was coming as guest, but in another 1 year, she is already at level 3. So people have their own journey and you're definitely going ahead with this. So I would like to take a moment here to specially thank VPPR, who is Siddharth, who did all the job of organizing it. And I want everyone to unmute themselves and clap. And Siddharth, please wave so we know who are you. Thank you so much for organizing this open house and making the experience very great for all the guests and also all of us. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, San, for organizing the seamless meeting on the Zoom and without having any technical hiccups. And thank you all the officers for the support. Thank you every roles and all the functionaries. Thank you, Kritika, for giving us such an inspiring speech. The thing which I'm proud about this Toastmaster Insiders is we have great people. We have people who have achieved. There are 2 members who are area directors. We had Andy who won at the district level. We had Kritika who won at area and 3rd place at the district level. We had Chris who won evaluation at district level. So there's so many things to learn, and then we have great role models whom we can look up to. So thank you everyone for each and every contribution you had to make this club going very awesome. And to all the guests, thank you so much for taking the time out. And now it's the time for raffle. I hope we inspired you enough to come and see our family again. Every Wednesday, you can come anytime. It's Wednesday 12 to 1. And you can reach out to officers. We have sent details in the chat. And you can reach out to any one of us. So time for the raffle. Can we all unmute and have the drum rolls for the raffle as well? So the raffle winner is Gaurav. We usually have best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topic speaker, but with the benefit of having just one speaker and one evaluator, we are just going to have the voting for best table topic speaker. So let's have drum rolls for the best table topic speaker. Best table topic speaker goes to Sujata.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the meeting is adjourned. We are staying here for some time if any guests have any further questions. Otherwise, you can reach us out. Please go. Don't forget to look the Inside Blue page. It's go to Toastmasters_SC and go to Toastmasters_SC_meetup for subscribing on Meetup. Thank you so much, everyone, for the wonderful meeting. And I hope you have the rest of a nice day. We are staying here for some time if anyone have any question.
Thanks, Ishwaki.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, guys.
Great job, Siddharth, Ishwaki, and everybody
Yeah,
else.
super.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, bravo.
It was a
This
great
was
attendance.
Yeah,
Wow.
we got 30 people.
That was very cool.
Yeah, 30 people.
To get
Yeah.
guests in a virtual meeting is amazing.
Yeah, and Siddharth had he found out interesting clips from all the past members. That was really nice compilation.
You went through all the videos, Siddharth.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You are amazing. You are
I know.
Actually, Kritika, it didn't strike me, but I should have probably put your very first speech on Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
I should have probably put that.
Thank God you didn't. I didn't know I
I
was
still
looking
remember
down.
that. I still
Now
remember
that you
that.
mention, I need to go back and look.
Maybe next time we can do a speech before and after.
Before, after. Yes, yes,
Oh, that's a
We
good
should,
idea.
those are really
It's a good idea, actually, like how people have grown.
Yeah, for open houses, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, for open house, precisely. Yeah.
And thank you, Chris, for mentioning about the virtual meetings. That was very important.
All right.
Cool. I do have a next meeting to go to, but I did want to
I'm happy we
applaud
also
you
made
guys.
that made in just time, right time. We are not going running. That's amazing.
Yeah, one of my
Let's-
colleagues was in the meeting and he was like, it's amazing what you guys are doing with the time management. Like, you know, excellent organization.
We really did. I thought we are definitely going over time, but just
I think Jeff stopped the table topics at the right time.
Exactly,
And you had
yeah.
time for other things like
yes,
good timing, yeah, on his part.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Okay,
leave.
cool.
Thank
I'm gonna
you so
leave.
much, Siddharth.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you again.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Bye. Take care.
Bye.